India and China disengaged at multiple points in eastern Ladakh. Chinese troops and infantry combat vehicles moved by 2.5 kilometers. India also moved some of its troops back. Army commanders to meet today to discuss further course of action. Senior BJP leaders Ravi Shankar Prasad and Nitin Gadkari to address virtual Jan Samvad rallies today for Himachal Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh respectively. Party also to start public relations campaign in Delhi from today. Group of ministers reviews containment measures for COVID-19. Central teams deployed to 50 municipal bodies facing high COVID-19 caseload to ensure better coordination between centres, states and municipal bodies. Number of people cured and discharged from COVID-19 surpasses the total active cases in the country. Over 1.35 lakh cured and discharged, while total active cases stand at 1,33,632. More than 50 lakh samples tested so far. WHO chief warns coronavirus pandemic is worsening globally, urges countries not to drop guard. Over 72.27 lakh people worldwide infected by COVID-19, with more than 4,10,000 deaths. Good morning. You're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. In a major development, India-China Army commanders level talks will be held today to discuss further course of action. Now, according to the top army sources, India and China have disengaged at multiple points in eastern Ladakh. Troops and infantry combat vehicles have moved back by 2.5 kilometers by People's Liberation Army in Galwan area, Patrolling Point 15 and Hot Springs area. India has also moved some of its troops back. In the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, Bharatiya Janata Party is holding virtual rallies to mark the completion of 1 year of Modi government. As part of this campaign, senior BJP leaders and union ministers Ravi Shankar Prasad and Nitin Gadkari will address Jan Samvad rallies in Himachal Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh respectively. The sale of tickets for third phase of Vande Bharat mission, Air India flights from destinations in Europe to India will commence from today. The tickets can be booked from Air India website only. The national carrier has asked applicants to ensure that they are registered with local Indian embassy or the High Commission, as it is a prerequisite to board the flight under Vande Bharat mission. Under the third phase of Vande Bharat mission, Air India will operate around 300 flights to Europe, Australia, Canada, US, United Kingdom and Africa. Last week, more than 22,000 tickets were sold within a short span of 15 hours when flight bookings commenced for destinations from US, Canada and other countries. In its largest repatriation mission across the world, India has already brought back over 70,000 nationals. Meanwhile, the first flight under Vande Bharat mission has left from Singapore to Madurai in Tamil Nadu. 2 other flights are also scheduled for Tiruchirappalli and Coimbatore later in the day today. Stranded Indians have lauded the government's effort.
We are a group of 56 people, priests from South India. We came here for doing a very big homam in one of the Hindu temples in Singapore in the last week of March. After that, because of the lockdown, we are stranded here. Thanks to High Commission, Singapore, India High Commission in Singapore, we are very grateful to them. They have been very helpful, courteous to all the people.
A total of 2,441 Indians have returned from Newark, Istanbul, Stockholm, New York, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, Doha, Muscat, Dubai and Kuala Lumpur on Tuesday. The 16th meeting of the high-level group of ministers on COVID-19, chaired by Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, was held on Tuesday via a video conference. The group of ministers was briefed about the latest status, response and management of COVID-19 in the country. A brief snapshot was presented to the group of ministers, highlighting the comparative position of India vis-a-vis other countries in similar stages of easing the lockdown, underscoring the benefits that have accrued from the lockdown and how this can be leveraged in management of the disease. Dr. Harshvardhan, chairman of the group of ministers, said that as we enter into Unlock 1 phase, where restrictions have been eased and curbs have been lifted, we need to be more disciplined in our behavior. He asserted, and I quote him, "Let us also not forget the social vaccine against COVID-19 through strict adherence of norms of physical distancing, hand hygiene and mask and face covers." Meanwhile, it has been decided that high-level multidisciplinary central teams will be deployed to 15 states and union territories that have more than 50 districts or municipal bodies which are witnessing high caseload and high spurt of the cases. These central teams will assist the state governments by providing technical support for containment and facilitate the management of COVID-19 outbreak. And now, up next, we take a look at the latest COVID-19 update from across the country. The number of people cured and discharged from COVID-19 have surpassed the total active cases in the country. 1,35,205 people have been cured and discharged so far, while total active cases stand at 1,33,632, according to ICMR. More than 50,61,000 samples have been tested across the country so far. 1,45,216 samples were tested in the last 24 hours. DMK MLA J. Ambazagan succumbed to COVID-19 in Chennai this morning, and he was admitted to the hospital on June 2nd with respiratory problems, following which he tested positive for COVID-19. The Chepauk Thiruvallikeni MLA's health condition had seen an improvement but took a turn for worse on Tuesday evening. J. Anbazagan was a three-time member of Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly in 2001. Anbazagan was first elected as MLA from Thiagara Nagar constituency. He was also elected as the MLA from Chepauk University constituency in 2011 and 2016. In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 terrorists were gunned down in an encounter with security forces in Shopian district. A cordon and search operation was launched in the Sugu area of Shopian in South Kashmir in the morning on receiving specific information about the presence of terrorists in the area. The operation turned into an encounter after the terrorists fired upon a search party of the forces who retaliated. 2 terrorists were killed in the exchange of fire. Now, this is the third encounter in Shopian in this week. 9 terrorists were killed in the last 2 encounters. In yet another ceasefire violation, Pakistan Army initiated unprovoked firing and mortar shelling along the LOC in Nowshera sector of the district Rajouri this morning. Now, according to the PRO defense, Pakistan Army resorted to unprovoked and indiscriminate firing with small arms and intense mortar shelling at about 7:30 in the morning along the LOC in Nowshera sector of Rajouri district. However, an alert Indian Army troops guarding these fence are retaliating befittingly with equal caliber. There are no reports of loss of any life and damage to any property so far. The exchange of fire continued when reports last came in. The Rudra Abhishek of Lord Shiva will take place today at Ram Janmabhoomi complex, which is located in Ayodhya. Kamal Nayan Das, the successor of Mahant Nritya Gopal Das of Mani Ram Das Cantonment, will conduct the ceremony. Mahant Nritya Gopal Das is also the chairman of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust, built for construction of Sri Ram Temple. Now, this ritual will be conducted at Kabera Tila, located in the complex. Priests have reached the spot to conduct the ritual. Priest Kamal Nayan Das spoke to media before going in for the ceremony. He said that only after the worship of Lord Shiva, the work of the temple will be started. A continuous practice of worship and yagna has been going on here.
रोजाना आचार्यों के द्वारा पूजा पाठ बराबर चल रहा है। यज्ञ भी रोजाना होता है विघ्न निवारण के लिए, और भगवान शिव जी का अभिषेक होगा इच्छित फल बिन शिव वराधे, लहिए न कोट जोग जप साधे। करोड़ों जोग यज्ञ जप तप किया जाए, लेकिन जब तक भगवान शिव जी की आराधना नहीं की जाती है, तब तक फल की प्राप्ति नहीं होती है।
Private sector will be allowed to use ISRO facilities and other relevant assets to improve their capacities. Dr. Jitendra Singh said this. Even during the corona pandemic, ISRO scientists have been engaged in search of the best methods to provide essential medical devices, protective kits and other equipment. Ministry of Ayush, in association with Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, will host a television event as a curtain raiser of the International Day of Yoga 2020. The event will be telecast on DD News today from 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. and it will also be streamed live on the Ministry of Ayush's Facebook page. The curtain raiser would mark a 10-day official countdown to the International Yoga Day 2020. Union Ministers of State for Ayush Shripad Naik, Minister of State in the PMO Dr. Jitendra Singh and President Indian Council for Cultural Relations Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudhe will address the nation through the electronic medium. In the light of the prevailing health emergency in the country due to COVID-19, this year the International Day for Yoga is set to go digital internationally. In view of the highly infectious nature of COVID-19, the ministry is encouraging people to practice yoga at their homes. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has also announced a video blogging contest, My Life, My Yoga, for the general public. The World Health Organization has urged countries to press on with efforts to contain novel coronavirus, noting that the pandemic was worsening globally and had not peaked in Central America. WHO Director General said in an online briefing that more than 136,000 cases were reported worldwide. That is the most number of cases in a single day so far. Brazil is now one of the hotspots of the pandemic with the second highest number of confirmed cases behind only United States and a death toll that last week surpassed Italy's death toll. And the number of infections worldwide is rising fastest than ever. According to the data from Johns Hopkins, over 72.44 lakh people have been infected with COVID-19 worldwide, while the United States tops with the highest number of infected cases, over 19.79 lakh, and over 1.12 lakh deaths due to the pandemic. Brazil stands second with over 7.39 lakh cases, followed by Russia with 4.84 lakh confirmed cases of COVID-19. The United Kingdom is on the third position, having 2.9 lakh confirmed cases of COVID-19. Though the number of cases of COVID-19 is increasing, but many countries have decided that this is the moment to ease lockdown restrictions. Brazil on Tuesday restored detailed COVID-19 data to its official national website following a ruling by Supreme Court that the full set of information has to be reinstated. The Health Ministry had removed the cumulative totals data for COVID-19 deaths and cases on Saturday, provoking uproar. The Supreme Court Justice has told the ministry on Tuesday to fully re-establish the publication of COVID-19 data in the interest of public health. Brazil has the world's second highest number of cases and has now more deaths daily than any other nation. The Latin American country has recorded more than 7 lakh infections, but because of insufficient testing, the number is believed to be much higher. More than 37,000 people have died. This is the third highest toll in the world. Meanwhile, President Jair Bolsonaro has set off a new political controversy after he said that he will consider pulling the country out of the World Health Organization once COVID-19 pandemic has passed. Bolsonaro has said that the WHO has not acted responsibly and has lost a lot of credibility, repeating recent criticism of what he claimed last week, that the body is political. In order to put lives back on track, Turkey's government has been gradually easing the restrictions for the past few weeks. Turkey has reopened restaurants and cafes in addition to many other public areas as the government further eased COVID-19 restrictions. Many other facilities, including parks, beaches, swimming pools, gyms, libraries and museums, reopened across the country. Also, the government is now lifting stay-at-home orders for people aged over 65 and for children as part of further easing of restrictions. Evidently, Turkey, with population of 83 million, has recorded over 4,500 virus-related deaths and more than 1,60,000 infections. Eiffel Tower in Paris will reopen on June 25th from the longest closure it has seen since World War II, after being forced to shut for more than 3 months due to COVID-19 pandemic. Wearing a face mask will be compulsory for all visitors from 11 years old onwards. The French government has started to ease the lockdown measures from mid-May. Palace of Versailles reopened on June 6th, while Louvre Museum will welcome back visitors from July 6th. And news now from neighborhood. The Bangladesh government has launched an online network to facilitate plasma exchange between recovered patients of COVID-19 and those undergoing treatment for COVID infection in the country. The initiative, named Shoho Jodha, has been launched by the ICT division of the government of Bangladesh in collaboration with Directorate General of Health Services, an innovation lab and e-generation to facilitate collection and distribution of plasma from patients who have recovered from COVID-19 have been planned. Sri Lankan government has decided to reopen all public schools under 4 stages starting this month end, as the country is gradually returning to normalcy with no community COVID infections reported for over a month now. Under the second stage, schools will reopen for students in grade 13th, 11th and 5th on the 6th of July. The third stage will see resumption of academic activities of students in grade 10th and 12th on the 20th of July. On 27th of July, schools will reopen for students in grades 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th in the 4th and final stage. Now, however, there is no detection on the date to resume grade 1 and 2 classes. Just as COVID-19 lockdown started, the animal care centers of New York City launched a social media campaign to encourage New Yorkers to foster and adopt pets. The shelter's foster supervisor said that the response was unbelievable, as demand for pets rose from 3,000 within the first day to 5,000 and 6,000 very quickly. The supervisor also said that they have never been in the position to have more foster parents than do animals. Since March 13, the animal care centers of New York City placed around 800 animals in foster care and over 600 were adopted. A 103-year-old Belgian doctor is walking a marathon around his garden in daily stages to raise money for research into the new COVID-19. Alphonse Limpiols, a retired general practitioner, started his 42.2 kilometers journey in the municipality of Rotselaar, northeast of Brussels, on June 1st and plans to complete it on June 30th. Every day he walks 10 laps of 145 meters, 3 in the morning, 3 at noon and 4 in the evening. To avoid losing count, he throws a stick into a bowl every time he completes a lap. Limpiols hopes to raise funds for the hospital attached to the nearby University of Leuven, where researchers are working to find a cure for COVID-19. So far, he has raised just over 6,000 euros, according to the Leuven University, and has covered about 1/3 of the distance of a marathon. General Charles Brown Jr. has become the first black officer to lead the U.S. Air Force. The Senate has unanimously confirmed him as the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force. The decision came amidst Trump administration, and white Republicans are in tight corner after the brutal death of George Floyd in police custody in Minneapolis. General Brown is a fighter pilot and has most recently served as a commander of U.S. Pacific Air Forces. Chilean fishermen stormed into streets in protest against the possible repeal of a law that prohibits the trawling of the Humboldt squid fish, known locally as the jibia. These small-scale fishermen blocked roads, set fires and clashed with police. The country witnessed violent protests as the fishing industry has seen tremendous fall in employment. Ecuador's active Sangay volcano spewed ash on Tuesday, blanketing towns across two provinces, fueling concerns of a potential health impact as the South American nation slowly emerges from COVID-19 outbreak. The Sangay volcano has moderate eruptions for over a year that have had little impact because of its remote location, but a recent change in wind patterns has pushed ash towards the coast and affected areas including the largest city there. Located in the southern Amazonian province of Morona, Santiago, the volcano set clouds of ash over the towns of Guamot, Alausi and Cibadas in central Chimborazo province and communities in southwest Guayas province. And back home, a man in Bihar has transferred his entire landed property to his two elephants after one of them had saved his life from a gun-toting criminal earlier. His two pet elephants, named Moti and Rani, aged 20 and 15 respectively, stay with him at his Patna residence. The man, Akhtar Imam, has been taking care of the elephants since he was 12. The news comes as a breath of fresh air, bringing much comfort to the hearts amid news about the death of a pregnant wild elephant in Kerala after it bit into a cracker stuffed pineapple. Imam, who heads the Asian Elephant Rehabilitation and Wildlife Animal Trust, transferred all his 6.25 acres of land to the two pet elephants last week to ensure the animals would never have to suffer from hunger even after his death. On that beautiful note, we'll end the bulletin here. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.